Hi, church family. Katie Lewis here for the Lewis Gang. To answer Steve's first question, how do you currently understand God's call on your life? I will have to go back to my 7th grade year where I attended a life-changing mission trip to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and that week seriously was the most life-changing week in my life. Ever since I got back from that trip, I felt called and still do to enter ministry in the church. I currently serve at First Methodist in downtown Fort Worth as a youth ministry intern and have been working there for the past year and a half. Since working there, God has only firmed up that the church is where I'm supposed to be. That is where He wants me. So after I finish up my last 2 years at TCU, go Frogs, I plan to go to seminary. And after seminary, who knows? Only God knows. I could see myself working in youth ministry for a couple years and then maybe, Lord willing, pastoring a larger congregation as a whole. But to be honest, I'm not too sure. I know I'm called to the church ministry, but only God really knows what that's going to look like for me. Just as Ruth said to Naomi in the book of Ruth, where He goes, I will go. I'm just following Him. How does your current understanding of God's call on your life affect and relate to your years in the FUMC Euless family? My FUMC Euless family has affected my calling, God's calling on my life by nurturing my call. The fellowship of believers, the encouragement of my spiritual gifts, and the community of faith really has strengthened me and grown me and stretched me in my faith ever since I was a little baby. It's things like mission trips and Sunday school and youth group and children's choir and musicals and youth choir and church council and confirmation with Mama Carol and youth group with youth directors such as Dave and Zach and Kristen and Krista. It's mission opportunities such as the Slab and Arlington Life Shelter. And the list goes on in Chrysalis of ways and ministries in our church that have helped me grow in my faith and discern and nurture this calling for ministry in the church. I really want to thank you all because I really think you guys have upheld the baptismal vows you gave to me as I was baptized as a baby in this church. I want to thank each of you for ordering your lives as an example of Christ. I want to thank you for surrounding me with steadfast love and support, and I want to thank you for helping establish me in my faith. What encouragement would you like to offer your home church as we continue to seek God's direction on how we ought to be making disciples for the transformation of the world? A lot of times we think that, I'll go out and make disciples once I'm okay in my faith and once I'm all fixed up. But the problem is just that. That's just an excuse. If we keep making that excuse, we'll never go out and make disciples. The time is here and the time is now. I think it's important to remember that God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. If that wasn't the case, people like Rahab the prostitute and Moses the stutterer wouldn't be such significant figures in the faith. God's going to use you and He's going to equip you with what you need to make disciples for the transformation of the world. And the last thing I think is very key to remember is the scripture at the very end of Matthew 28, where the Great Commission is held and talked about. He says, "And surely I am with you always until the very end of the age." The great thing is we don't have to do this alone. Christ is with us always. So be encouraged in that and be encouraged in the faith and go therefore and make disciples of all nations.